Hello there. So in this recording, what we're going to go ahead and talk about is wrist exercises and finger exercises, mainly pertaining to trying to be able to release your wrists, right? Especially if they're super tense. Now, oftentimes, and I have this wrist and exercise activity listed here, we want to go ahead and focus on wrist motion in a variety of steps. So first of all, what we focus on is just up and down motions. Then we think more so side to side and kind of more like this sweeping shape. And then we think about more of that circular shape that we're looking for. And so whenever I first start, let's say that I'm starting with like a C major pentascale. So, and you can even follow the notes that are here on the page, but we have like C, then D, then E, F, G, and then back down. And then we can repeat it constantly. Now, one of the first things that I always think about is that whenever we think about an upwards motion of the wrist, you always want to make sure that the wrist isn't too high. So like whenever I'm going here, and you can also see this in my normal view here, is that the fact that my wrist doesn't go super high. Otherwise, what ends up happening is that you get really tense. And your elbow, of course, doesn't go up either in order to get the height. Elbow stays the same. So usually whenever I am level, or what we oftentimes would call a tabletop position, that's usually whenever we would end up saying is our highest point, and then from there we can get lower. So whenever I'm thinking about up and down, usually I start with a down up on all of the notes. You can go ahead and try it two ways. So the first way is thinking down, and then when you come up, just come off. So you think down, up and off, down, up and off, down, up and off, down, up and off, down. And then again, you can go down. And you can go ahead and, of course, pause this video and try that. With each and every single one of these, you can always do them with me, or you can do them by yourself. Now, after that, what we want to try and do is that we want to focus on being able to come up, but not necessarily off. Because there are times where we play long notes, but even when we play long notes, we have to be able to release. So we think like this: down, up, 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 and then down, up. Now, after you got that down, up motion figured out, what we can do is that we can do multiple notes in one motion, and this is going to be important for us to get that circular motion. So what you can do is you can go like from C to D, right? You could think down on C and then up on D. Now when you do this, you're going to think down on C, and when you go up to D, what you want to do is you also want to turn your wrist slightly to the right so that you get your hands in the proper position for D. So I think really down, over, up. Then I could start on E and do the same thing. I think down, over, up, and then down, now over to the left, up, down, over, up, and then down. Something like that. You can also do that in groups of three. But then what we end up getting is we start to get to the circular motion. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this through so that this video doesn't get too long. But what we oftentimes will do is that we have to figure out where's the top and where's the bottom of a specific gesture. So like in this one specifically, where we have like C, D, E, F, G, and then back down, the bottom's the C, top is the G. And the way that I've written this in here, right, and you can see it is down, over, up, over. Whenever I say over, it's just a matter of your hands moving either in the rightward direction or left. And every time, I always say this, but if your wrist is very loose, oftentimes your fingers will also remain loose. If you have tension in any part of your body, it becomes really hard to play loosely or fluidly. So it would look like this. So down, over, and then up, then back over, and then down. Now, what I will say is that as I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a couple of things. One thing that I want you to just kind of keep in mind, and I'm going to zoom in to myself here, is that as I'm doing this and I'm thinking down and over, again, as I think down and over, my wrist is still down, but slightly coming up. By the time that I get to the G, I bounce up and out. Then as I'm coming over, again, you'll notice that my hands come down. So there isn't specifically ever a time where I think down and then straight over to the left or to the right. I'm always thinking down, over, and slightly up, and then I bounce up, and then over, and then back down. Right? And that's a very exaggerated motion. But again, the highest that you bounce up to is really when I get back to that tabletop position. And And again, what you can do is I would start very, very slowly, try and manage it. And then what I would try and do is I would try and group them a little bit more. So down, over, up, over, down, over to the right, up, over to the left. And just try and be able to get this feeling. And that concludes our video specifically on finger and wrist exercises. Hopefully this helps specifically get you to feel, again, how can the wrist be, of course, fluid and without tension.